Hello, I had quite an interesting experience today. I took the train over to Audio T in Brighton, where I was allowed to listen to Rega's top amplifier, the Osiris, and their second to top CD player, which is called the Isis. They make a valve Isis, which is more expensive than that, but you know, to all intents and purposes, the Isis are and the valve Isis are similar CD players, one with valves, one with transistors, of course. So I heard the transistorized one. Now, these are together £12,000, they're £6,000 each, and there is no way that £12,000 is going to come fluttering its way my way very soon, or whatever. Well, I mean, in all probability anyway, and even so, I wouldn't necessarily justify spending that amount of money on hi-fi. However, as an experiment to hear the difference between my hi-fi system, which is relatively low-end Rega stuff, the bottom CD player, the Apollo, second to bottom amplifier, and their low-end floor standing speakers, the R3s. That's my setup. I just wanted to see what the difference was, really. So I took along with me some CDs that, in my setup, reveal some slight shortcomings. Mainly, in some places, an uneven bass, as evidenced on two tracks. The title track from Joan Armour Trading's This Charming Life CD, and the sound of drums on Kula Shaker's Peasants, Pigs and Astronauts CD. And on Brett Denon's Hope for the Hopeless, some raucous congestion because it's a very loudness ward CD, and it can sometimes be hard to tell what's going on there. Also with me I had this Nitin Sawhney album, which I've mentioned a few times before on YouTube, in particular the song The Conference on here, which is just a stunning piece of work. Sounds good on virtually anything, but in hi-fi it's just great. So I took those with me to see the difference. Now, I was quite surprised in a way, and I did express some of this surprise to John, who was the guy that was demonstrating to me, that they were using the RS3 speakers. Now, the RS3 speakers are the new version of my speaker, which is the R3. Similar sort of price. I think it's a little bit more expensive now because of the pound and what have you. But it's still £400 a speaker, which is a fairly reasonable price of speaker, compared to the £4,500 speaker that they were using to demonstrate yesterday with the Isis and Osiris. I think a customer had been in before and wanted to hear those particular Rega speakers, and so that's why they were there, and it was a good control measure. Even through my speakers, this is Joan Armour Trading walked in, sat down. Well, she didn't sit down, but she walked in. The band started playing, and it was as if everything was totally grounded. You had people standing on the floor, a drum kit on the floor, Joan Armour Trading there in front of you, singing with a glorious voice, none of the unruly bass on This Charming Life, which my system sometimes exhibits. It's a bit like a funnel of a steamer sometimes, the bass on that track. But with the Isis and Osiris combination, it was kept well in check at levels, still punchy, still a brilliantly, loud, vibrant sound, but at levels far more civilized than I normally listen to here, because because people, what they do is they turn it up. If they want to, you want to dance around to a bit of music or something, or really get into it, you turn it up. You didn't need to with the Osiris. It was just, there at much more civilized levels. The treble was very smooth and sweet, not dull at all, and CDs are notorious for not doing cymbals properly, but there was air and space around anything really that was, you know, any of the high percussion triangles and anything that goes ding ding, and you could actually, you know, feel those drumsticks hitting the cymbals. Now I thought my system did that, but it was touchable with the Isis and Osiris. It was just you know, brilliant experience. Brett Denon here, well controlled, no raucousness whatsoever, and yet all of those band members were in the room playing music, and you were just aware that it was loud or louder than Joan Armour Trading, but nothing there at all that would actually, you know, cause any kind of offence or whatever. But at the same time, you know, inoffensive can sometimes mean bland, and it wasn't bland at all. Just a gorgeous sound. All right. So there's Brett Denon on there. Next, this track here, Sound of Drums on here, just completely took me, as did the other song that I played on here, Namami Nanda Nandanam. Sound of Drums, again, bass kept well in control. You were aware that it was quite a heavy bass line, but you also got the start and stopness of the rhythm, and in fact that was a general characteristic of the whole system and the whole experience, that I just could not keep still. I was totally focused. Normally when I listen to music, I sometimes find my attention drifting, and you know, I wonder if someone sent me a text message sort of thing, but none of that at all. You're just totally enraptured. Your whole body is wanting to move, but you know, I just, because I'm in the middle of a shop, I'm, you know, tapping my hand away on my legs, and my feet are itching to move up and down. Just, you know, a very rhythmic experience. Namami Nanda on here just took you to Vrindavan in the middle of India. You know, you've got this woman praying away in Sanskrit, and it just took your breath away. There's like a sort of a sound of outdoors, of water running down a river or something, and flutes and birds tweeting and everything, and you were there. You were outside with them. It's just gorgeous. Then I put some tracks from here on, in particular the Conference, which I've spoken about a few times before on YouTube. It's 3 people singing away notes of the Indian scale, whilst sort of, you know, playing percussion instruments, you know, the sort of tom-tommy drums, the hand tom-tom drums sort of thing. Bongo drums, that's what I mean. So the people were there. You had this human presence. Even, you know, there's a guy with quite a deep voice on the right hand side, and you could sort of almost touch his chest. You know, the drums, although on mine you were aware of, or you are aware of, you know, the weight of those drums, you're not aware of the physical presence in the way that you were on the Isis and Osiris. You know, a real slap on the hands as it was playing. Also on here I played the title track Beyond Skin, which has a very loud, raucous, aggressive percussion-y bit, followed by some very sweet guitar, and the way that the moods changed, it starts and stops on a hairpin, you know, just unbelievable. So a totally thrilling experience. Now I tried to you know, tweak my system for the bass and treble problems, and I bought some speaker cable, which I might talk about in another video. Suffice to say that there is a slight improvement now in my system too, but yes, a a fantastic experience. Thanks to the people at Audio T. Great. Nice one.